Now, I gotta say straight out the gate that I did not get the chance to watch the Harry Potter films as a child back in the early 2000s because I came from a pretty religious family. And you know how anything to do with magic tends to be looked at in those households. But once I hit my teen years, I finally had the freedom to kind of branch out when it came to the TV shows and movies I was able to watch. And Harry Potter ended up getting watched way more times than I can count. And I mean each individual movie. So I kind of understood what the hype was about a little bit there. But now it's been 10 years plus since the release of the last film, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. And I guess during that time, the nostalgia bug was biting pretty hard, and these networks and production companies were just itching for a chance to do the one thing that people had been dreading, which was to recreate Harry Potter. And HBO wasted absolutely no time tapping into the conversation, and eventually announcing that they were working on a Harry Potter TV series back in April of 2023. At first, I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was some type of AI post that somebody had made. You know, those types of pages where they just kind of make up stuff, particularly when it comes to entertainment and celebrities that never actually happen in real life. So I thought this was just something that someone made up and posted, or it was just some type of mistake. But no, the folks over at HBO were quite serious. And they would start production on the series in July of 2025 alongside Warner Brothers. Now, there had been all types of conversations and chatter on the internet about the show's budget, with some saying that they were averaging $100 million an episode.
Warner Bros. Tricked Paramount into buying them, and it all has to do with the new Harry Potter show. HBO has already planned to do 7 seasons, 1 for each book, where each episode is expected to be around $100 million, making it by far the most expensive TV show of all time, with an all-in cost of $5.6 billion. But this was a genius play by Warner Bros. Because not only is Harry Potter by itself a massive IP, but they made it a flagship title to make the negotiation between Netflix and Paramount more competitive, which is and will always be the crown jewel of this deal over the next decade. And that's not all. They're building a $1.3 billion mini-city in the UK where all the filming will take place. For comparison, the original films had a rough cost of around $144 million. Now that covers 1.5 episodes for Paramount. Now, HBO Max is known to pull off some wild TV shows, but this one doubles the Lord of the Rings that Prime Video did, making this the most important TV show of all time, not only for the sake of Harry Potter fans, but for Paramount as a business.
The most expensive film in the Harry Potter franchise is reportedly Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, which had a production budget of approximately $250 million, and that was all the way back in 2009. But anyway, enough about the budget. They released an actual trailer for the series just a few weeks ago, and it was looking pretty close to the films. But of course, there were now different child actors playing Harry, Hermione, and Ron. But I also noticed that the lighting in the film was super dark and almost kind of gave me horror movie vibes. Just a little bit. The films just seemed so much brighter, and there was also more warmth too. It kind of gave that whimsical and childlike feel that McDonald's used to give in the 90s and 2000s. And then you just kind of got the 2020s version looking all depressing. But anyway, I think y'all kind of get the point I'm trying to make here. Obviously, we've had a lot of upgrades in technology since they filmed the first Harry Potter film over 25 years ago, but I feel like it's almost made us regress a little bit when it comes to certain things. The casting looks okay. It seems to be lacking a little bit of a spark, but it's kind of alright, I guess. Except for Professor Severus Snape, which was what a lot of people all across the internet have been talking about. With the question being, why the heck is there a black Professor Snape in the show? Before people start yapping about the fact that this isn't based on a real-life character and the story is made up, none of that matters. This was again another super unnecessary race swap. In the films, the character was played by Alan Rickman, but this time around, I guess they just kind of wanted to shake things up and make that one particular character, for some reason, the most unlike how he's described in the books. Which, ironically enough, according to some fans, is the reason they're excited about this series, because they claim it's more like the books than the movies were. Which could be true in the long run, but how they got that from a 2-minute trailer is quite interesting to me. But anywho, back to Professor Snape for a second. I honestly hate when they do this because, like usual, it just has you asking why and what was the reason. But the bigger issue I have is with the casting crew, because now you're putting this actor, who in this case is Papa Essiedu, at the forefront.
Papa Essiedu, the actor taking on one of the Harry Potter franchise's most iconic roles in HBO's new television series adaptation, says he's received racist comments and death threats online over his casting. Essiedu plays Severus Snape in HBO's upcoming series, a role originally played by Alan Rickman. Essiedu told British newspaper The Times he's received social media messages threatening his life, telling the newspaper, quote, "The reality is that if I look at Instagram, I will see somebody saying, 'I'm going to come to your house and kill you.'" The actor added that while the comments do affect him emotionally, they also fuel him in his work, saying, quote, "I think of how I felt as a kid. I would imagine myself at Hogwarts on broomsticks, and the idea that a kid like me can see themselves represented in that world, that's motivation to not be intimidated." The online abuse prompted HBO to comment that it had a serious security team, its chief Casey Bloys told Variety. HBO released the first teaser trailer this week for the series' first season, which is supposed to premiere around Christmas this year.
He's now the one getting all the crazy comments, the hate from fans, and even the threats. Obviously, that's taking things way too far when audiences do that, but the fact that these production and casting teams keep doing this is just so stupid to me. Again, just like I said in the video that I made regarding Bridgerton's new up-and-coming season, representation is cool just as long as it makes sense, and it's not coming across as forced. It's very clear that in this situation, this actor was just thrown in there and then eventually to the wolves when the word got out that he was casted as Professor Snape. I think they're just doing a disservice to the actor and the audiences, because what does this accomplish? How does this decision improve the show? It also leads me to ask, is it just the perfect setup for them to hide behind whenever they get any type of criticism? I don't know. This just always looks so strange whenever they do this type of stuff, because what's the real intention? Overall, this could be a new start for the franchise in terms of really fleshing out J.K. Rowling's books, because there was definitely changes made when it came to the film adaptations, because you really only have so much time to capture both the viewer's attention and try to tell the story. So with a series like this one, they definitely have the opportunity to portray more of the source material and kind of make the characters more like the books as well. Because, for example, we had Ron Weasley. He definitely had a bit more confidence and pizzazz in the books compared to how he was portrayed in the films. But I gotta be honest, I'm kind of worried that this whole fleshing out thing is not gonna really happen. Maybe because of the era of film and television that we're in and how much the culture has shifted due to the politics of it all. These remakes almost always end up just being lazily written and way too reliant on aspects like representation to carry it all home. But much like what I said in my video about Stephen Colbert co-writing a new Lord of the Rings movie, I'll just give it a chance and see. Because I might get proven wrong and this might also potentially be a good series, but I'm really unsure about it, to be real with you. But we got a pretty lengthy wait before we find out in December, but what are your thoughts? Let me know down in the comments. I'll catch you all in the next one.